Assalamualaikum and good day everybody. We continue on with our next lecture, Marketing in the Global Firm. In this topic, we will explain global market segmentation. We will also try to understand standardization and adaptation in international marketing, and then the 4 P's of international marketing: product, pricing, communications or promotion, and international distribution or place. Remember what we have learned last week? Last few weeks we have learned about methods of entering the international market with different resource commitment and also the degree of control each method has. So, once the firm has entered the international market, they will have to operate in the international market. So, they have to do their own international marketing and also international human resource. So, for today, we will discuss international marketing. What is marketing in the global firm? Marketing in the global firm or the international firm will be highly influenced by the environment of international business. We have discussed the 4 risks of international business. You have cross-cultural risk. You also have currency risk, country risk, and also commercial risk. Because the firm will be influenced by all these risks and the environment, they have to tailor their own global marketing strategy because different markets have different demands. In this way, they will have to tailor their own product, price, place, and also promotion or communications. So, in the international firm, the cultural, social, political, legal and regulatory environment of the international market will highly influence the way a firm develop, adapt and markets their product and services. Why? It will affect pricing, distribution and marketing communications. Think about different currency rates. Think about different tastes in terms of the demand due to culture. Let's say in India, most people in India do not eat meat. So, what does it mean for restaurant operators in India? Example here is, for high inflation countries, the firm must review its prices frequently. So, the firm must tailor their own global marketing strategy. Global marketing strategy is a plan of action for foreign markets. This will guide the firm in deciding how to position themselves and their offerings, which consumer and which customer segments to target, and the degree to which it should standardize or adapt its marketing program elements. The further the culture of the target market, the more the firm will need to adapt their products or adapt their marketing. We have learned market segmentation in your basics of marketing. Market segmentation is the process of dividing the firm's total customer base into homogeneous clusters. This will allow management to formulate unique marketing strategies for each group. Market segmentation is based on income level, lifestyle, demographic profile, or desired product benefits. In the international level, common market segment variable will include income level, culture, legal system, and so on. For instance, you can see Malaysia and Singapore, we are neighbouring countries, but we have quite high difference in terms of income level. So the products that will sell in Malaysia may sell differently in Singapore. Let's take a look in culture. Western and Eastern culture, it will also influence the way people consume things. So, it will affect global marketing as well. Let's see how things are different in different markets, because we have talked about the international marketing effort will be different and will be influenced by a lot of variables according to region and nations. Here I give you an example of L'Oreal's marketing effort for a specific product in different region. As you can see here, this is a hair oil. Maybe you have seen this in supermarkets, maybe you have seen this in shops, but they are actually available all over the world. So let's see how the marketing is, how the promotion looks like in African countries. Take a look into the tagline, revive dry hair in just one use. And take a look at the picture in the promotion. And then let's consider how African countries are in terms of the geography. In general, it's dry and hot. Okay. So how does it affect the hair of African people? Maybe dry as well. Okay. Now, take a look into the second picture. This is L'Oreal's marketing effort promotion in, if I'm not mistaken, this is in maybe Malaysia or Indonesia. So, in Malay, in bahasa Indonesia or bahasa Malaysia, this means have shiny hair. Look how different it is than dry hair here. And look at the picture in the promotion as well. Is it fine if we use this picture for this promotion and this picture for this promotion? No, it won't. Because of a lot of cultural variables. Okay, let's take a look into the promotion where L'Oreal originates from, which is European countries. The picture is different. The words are also different. So now you can imagine how different marketing would be like for different markets. A similar product can be sold in various markets. We will discuss that in the next few slides. The next term is global market segment. It is a group of customers that share common characteristics across many national markets. This is a firm's favorite because they can target these buyers with uniform marketing programs. So the pricing can be similar, the product is similar, the communications is similar, the promotion is similar, and also with regards to the distribution as well. So these segments, they often follow global media, they embrace new fashions or trends, and they also have much disposable income. Think about how iPhone is being sold. Apple products basically, MacBook, and so on. Even certain types of shoe brands. Maybe you can put down in the comments what kind of shoe brands that are in demand right now, because I have no idea, right? Because that is also a part of the global market segment. Next term is positioning. Positioning is the marketing strategy in which the firm develops both the product and marketing to evoke a distinct impression in the customer's mind. A positioning can be focused on efficiency. It can be focused on value. It also can be focused on other aspects as well. luxury maybe, and so on. So positioning will emphasize a brand's differences from their competitors' offerings, and then consumers can associate these specific attributes with that product. So, internationalizing firms that are trying to enter an international market, they will aim for a global positioning strategy because it makes sense and it is also cost effective. Because adaptation is expensive. So, internationalizing firms aim for global positioning strategy because it will position the offering similarly in the minds of targeted buyers worldwide. Let's take a look into standardization and also adaptation. So, in the international marketing topic, firms will choose between standardization and also adaptation. They may not be 100% standardization because this is international business, and maybe there's no 100% adaptation again because this is international business. But firms will choose somewhere here or here to offer their product. Standardization is efforts to make marketing program elements uniform. So a similar marketing program as to target entire regions or countries or even the global marketplace with a similar product or service. However, targeting the same product everywhere is not usually feasible. Remember, there are a lot of variables in the international market and there are a lot of risk in international market that shapes the region or that shapes a country. But standardization has a lot of benefits. First is cost reduction. Again, adaptation is expensive. And then, because they can save costs, after they save costs, the firm can have an improvement in their planning and control because there is less need to control other variables. And because of standardization, a lot of things are standardized, the firm can portray a consistent image, and this helps them to build a global brand. But only certain products can be marketed using standardization strategy. Things that are highly expensive, for example, this boat. Do we need to adapt this boat according to different markets? Maybe not. And then technological products or B2B products. This chip right here, for example, do we need to adapt them according to different countries? Perhaps not. And also maybe chemical products, a type of B2B product. Do we need to adapt them as well? Certainly not. We take a look into adaptation. Adaptation is modifying elements of the marketing program to accommodate specific customer requirements in individual foreign markets. To accommodate specific customer requirements. For example, automaking, publishing, and furniture, these are multi-domestic industries. So, adaptation will include translating labels, translating instructions, to the extent of modifying products to their unique environment. Sometimes firms will adapt to comply to different tastes and regulations. Why adaptation happens? Due to different factors. First is differences in national preferences. For example, in terms of food products, some countries they prefer higher content of sugar, some countries don't. Differences in living standards and economic conditions. Certain products are more expensive in certain countries, so this will affect the pricing of certain products. There are also differences in laws and regulations and differences in national infrastructure. Infrastructure meaning some countries have very limited internet facilities. So, is it possible to market your products using internet or other types of telecommunications similar to the internet? Perhaps the firm should choose another alternative. Okay, let's take a look into a similar product but in different markets. So this is Milo advertisement in Malaysia, and this is a Milo advertisement in Nigeria. Take a look into the wording here. Give him nothing less than Milo to take on exams. If you are a Malaysian, going to exam is something so common, and it is something that we take very seriously, because if we excel in our examinations, that is how we move forward with our life. In Nigeria though, wording is building champs in life. In Malaysia, we focus on school. In Nigeria, they focus on sports. So here, really, what Milo is building on is moving forward with our life from our childhood. To move forward in our life, for Malaysians, is through examinations and school, but in Nigeria, is through sports. That is how firms can adapt their marketing efforts in different countries. So, in international marketing, the management will try to strike some balance between standardization and adaptation. So this balance and this option will affect global branding, product development, pricing, the communications or promotion, and also international distribution. Also, do remember that marketing means spending a lot of money to make money. So, while choosing a point between standardization and adaptation, this is something that the management has to consider as well. In between standardization and adaptation, this is 100% or complete standardization. This is 100% or complete adaptation. So in the international market, perhaps we may not reach 100% standardization or adaptation because there are a lot of factors involved in the decision. Let's take a look into standardization. Standardization exemplifies global integration. This is more appropriate in global industry. What is the meaning by global industry? Remember, global branding. These are industries that are offering products that can be consumed by everyone. So the products are more standardized. So this should be pursued when there are similar market segments exist across countries, and when customers they seek similar features, and if products have universal specifications, and if business customers have converging or similar expectations. So you can imagine that this will happen in the B2B market. So that's why chips here, they require less adaptation. Some advantages here. First is cost reduction. Of course, you can save a lot of money if you choose complete standardization or standardization in general, because there's less need to adapt, and adaptation will require you to spend. So you have improved planning and control, and you have also the ability to portray a consistent image and build global brands. How about adaptation? Adaptation exemplifies local responsiveness. What does it mean by local responsiveness? It means the firm responds to the local environment. How they respond is through adaptation. Coming to Malaysia, Malaysia is mostly Muslim country. So the halal logo is important. Perhaps it is not important in other countries, but it is important in Malaysia. So this is an example of adaptation. So this is pursued when there are distinct national preferences, laws and regulations, living standards and economic conditions, and differences in terms of national infrastructure. So this is more appropriate in multi-domestic industry. So the advantages of adaptation is customers. The advantages of adaptation is the firm may meet needs of customers more precisely, they can enjoy unique appeal and comply with government regulations. Here, they can also achieve greater success in combating customer resistance because you have shown that you are responding to differences in market. However, standardization and adaptation must be balanced. Why? Because adaptation is costly. It will require substantial changes to the marketing mix, especially when many national markets are involved. Let's say if you are targeting Southeast Asia and you want to adapt the product to Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, it will cost the firm a lot of resources. So, managers tend to be on the side of standardization and they will adapt the marketing mix only when it's necessary. They can also pursue a regional strategy. What does it mean? Marketing elements are formulated according a geographical region. Let's say instead of targeting Malaysia, Indonesia or Singapore and adapt the product to the market and adapt the marketing mix to the market, the firm can adapt the marketing mix according to one region only. So this is good for the firm because a lot of regions have similar buyer preferences and product standards. And media and distribution channels are organized on a regional basis, and this is good for countries with regional economical integration blocks. Let's say EU, ASEAN. So the marketing mix can be adapted to a region as well. For example, marketing cars for countries in Europe. So European roads in general, they look like this. Not just in France, but in Germany, in Italy, usually they look like this. And the roads in the US, they look like this. There's room for traffic, but there's less room for traffic in the European roads. So the adaptation of this kind of cars can be done not just for France, but also other countries in Europe as well. So here, this car company has adapted its product according to a region, which means they have pursued a regional strategy. Continue on with our first P in the international marketing mix, which is global branding or product. The focus of international marketing for product is global brand. A global brand will increase the effectiveness of marketing programs. It will facilitate the ability for firms to charge premium prices. Think about Apple products. It will also increase the firm's leverage with resellers, stimulates brand loyalty, and will inspire consumers' trust and confidence in the product. Some characteristics of a global brand or products from a global brand is that product has high visibility, it is seen as status symbols, it also has a widespread appeal. So you can imagine that this is a type of consumer product. This fits everyone's lifestyle and it has a close identification with a particular country. There's a list of global brands every year, and let's see the global brands from the last 3 to 4 years. In 2018, Apple is the first. 19, Apple is still the first. 2020, Apple is the first. 2021, Apple is still the first, consecutively for 4 years. So Apple is doing quite well, and this is one of the best examples of a global brand. Google was number 2 in 2018 and 19, but it went to number 4 in 2020 and also 2021. Amazon is doing quite well. Number 3 in 2018 and 19. It went up to number 2 in 2020 and 2021. I suspect it's due to COVID-19 because people are doing more e-commerce because they have to stay at home. Are there any brands from emerging markets here? Only one, Samsung. Number 6 in 2018, also 2019, it's number 6. Went up to number 5 in 2020 and also 2021. So marketing students especially, you will learn this again in your third year. I think international business students will take international marketing as a subject in their third year. Perhaps you will learn this more in your upcoming semesters. How to develop global products. In developing international products, managers emphasize their commonalities across countries. What are the common characteristics of consumers in different markets rather than the differences? It can be their technology use, it can be what they seek from the product. A basic product incorporates only core features that are then varied at the margins for individual market. So this is a more cost-effective way to adapt. The team that produces strategy for global products is called a global new product planning team. It is a group within a firm that determines which product elements will be standardized, which will be adapted locally, and how products will be launched. Let's look into international pricing. The second P, which is price. Pricing is complex in international business due to multiple currencies, trade barriers, added costs, and for some countries, they have typically longer distribution channels. Firms face pressure to lower prices abroad because some countries have lower income levels. At the same time, prices can escalate. Prices can change due to tariff, tax, transportation, markups, after-sales service, and so on. Let's look into a very simple product from IKEA. IKEA or IKEA? Let me know. This chair is called Pillow from IKEA. Let's look at the price of Pillow chair in Malaysia, in South Korea, and also in India. In Malaysia, it's 169 ringgit. In won, it's 45,000. In rupee, it's 3,000 plus. In Korea, the price is 40,000 won. So, is it cheaper to buy pillow chair in Korea? If I'm a Malaysian, yeah, maybe I will go to Korea just to buy pillow. But is it worth it? Let's look into how pillow looks like in India. It's 3,990 rupee. In Malaysian ringgit, it's quite expensive. More expensive than how it is in Malaysia. So if I am a person from India, if I really want to buy pillow, so I should just go to Malaysia or Korea because it's more cheap. But then again, consider the transportation cost. Consider the taxes that I have to pay to get pillow back to my country. So that is how complex international pricing is. So what is in the screen there's actually more to it. Some factors that will affect pricing. First is the nature of the market. Local purchasing power and distribution infrastructure are big factors. The railroad system, the road system especially, it will affect the distribution cost of the product, which will add towards the cost of delivering the product as well. Next is the nature of product or industry. A specialized or highly advanced product or an industry with few competitors will necessitate charging a higher price. This may explain some high prices for technological items. Next factor is the type of distribution system. Some channels are complex in some countries. This will push prices up. For this, I will give you an example of China and Philippines. China has a lot of land and the road system is more efficient. And road transportation in general is much cheaper than air or ocean transportation. So it is cheaper to market products in China in comparison to the Philippines. So Philippines is made up of many islands. So to move your products, you will need ocean transportation. You will need various other transportation as well, including air transportation, which will increase the cost of the product. Next is location of the manufacturing facility or the production facility. Locating manufacturing near customers or in countries with low cost labor will facilitate lower prices. So this explains a lot of firms pushing their manufacturing in countries like China, India or Vietnam. There are also firm-based factors. Some factors are internal to the firm. For example, the management's profit and market share expectation, the cost of manufacturing, marketing and other value chain activities, the degree of control the management will desire over price setting in foreign markets. So this is more towards the management. There are also other factors from the external environment. First is customer expectations, purchasing power and also sensitivity to price increase. The firm must also consider competitors' prices because consumers will compare according to their competitors as well. Next is international customer costs in terms of the modification of the product, the documentation, financing and so on. The landed cost also, we have discussed tariff because it will increase the price of the product, and also warehousing charges. Another cost is importer's cost, which is value-added tax and other applicable taxes paid by the importer or the firm and the local intermediary margins and the cost of financing inventory. The cost of keeping the product. And also anticipated fluctuations in currency exchange rates. Remember what we have learned in currency risk? Currency will fluctuate according to time. It is constantly changing. You have learned this in marketing, but I just walk through it briefly. Some pricing strategies. First is rigid cost plus pricing. This is when a firm set a fixed price for all export markets through adding a flat percentage to the domestic price to compensate for the added cost of doing business abroad. A firm can also choose flexible cost plus pricing. This is when the firm set price to accommodate local market conditions. Local market conditions can be customer purchasing power, demand and also competitor prices. The firm can also choose incremental pricing. whereby the price is set to cover only variable costs and not fixed costs, assuming that fixed costs have already been paid from the sales in the home or other countries. What is international price escalation? It refers to the problem of end-user prices reaching high levels in the export market. It is caused by multi-layered distribution channels, intermediary margins, tariffs and other added costs associated with the foreign market. It may result in an excessively high retail price in the target market, which will create competitive disadvantage for the exporter. But there are various strategies to reduce price escalation. These are some strategies to combat price escalation. First, the firm may shorten the distribution channel. This is good because it reduces the variables that can increase costs. Or the firm can redesign the product to remove costly features. For example, Whirlpool, they have developed a no-frills washing machine, so they can offer much lower price. Next is ship products unassembled as parts, as components to qualify for lower import tariffs. Remember, we have learned this in the first few weeks. So, assembly is performed in the foreign market using low-cost labor or in foreign trade zones. Next is the firm can have the product reclassified using a different tariff classification to qualify for lower tariff. Or move production or sourcing to another country to take advantage of lower labor costs or favorable currency rates. These are strategies for dealing with varying currency conditions. For this, I give you an example of exporting and importing between Malaysia and New Zealand. If Malaysia wants to export oil to New Zealand, this is the situation that the exporter may face. The exporter may gain a price advantage because its home country currency is weakening relative to the customer's currency. In general, the currency in Malaysia is weaker than New Zealand's currency. So, what can a Malaysian exporter do? First, they can stress the benefits of the firm's lower prices to foreign customers and benefit from selling through volume. Or they can maintain normal price levels, expand the product line, or add more costly features. So they have reason to increase the price. Or exploit greater export opportunities in markets where this favorable exchange rate exists. Speed repatriation of foreign earned income and collections. And minimize expenditures in the customer's currency, because the currency here is much more expensive than the home country. But if the exporter has a currency stronger than the host country, let's say a New Zealand firm wants to export dairy products to Malaysia, so the exporter may suffer from a price disadvantage because its home country currency is appreciating relative to the customer's currency. So they can accentuate or increase or show the competitive strengths in non-price elements of their product, such as product quality, delivery and services. That is how New Zealand dairy products are marketed as high quality dairy products, because they can increase their price. The firm can also consider lowering prices by improving productivity, reducing production costs, or eliminating costly product features. and concentrate exporting to those countries whose currencies have not weakened in relation to the exporter, and maintain foreign earned income in the customer's currency. Maybe they can delay the collection of foreign accounts receivable because it's assumed that the customer's currency will likely gain strength over a reasonable time period. They can also maximize expenditures in the customer's currency. This is a factor that can negatively influence the pricing of a product, which is grey marketing. Grey marketing is legal importation of genuine products into a country by other than authorized intermediaries. Grey marketers buy the product at low price in one country, they import it into another country, and they sell it at a higher price. What are the causes? First, there's large difference in pricing of the same product between two countries, usually because of company strategy. Another cause is exchange rate differences of products. So, in two different currencies, the product is priced differently. One of the best examples for grey marketing is marketing for luxury items such as handbags. So in the origin country, in general, the price is quite low. But in the export country, the prices are quite high. But it is still quite high even though it is sold by channels managed by the brand owners. So this is why online grey markets take advantage of this situation. So there are visitors coming to the origin country, they buy handbags, they buy goods with low prices and then sell them to consumers. And these consumers do not visit the channels, do not visit the shops, official shops appointed by the official product. Instead, they buy from these grey people. Of course, consumers, they want prices that are much cheaper. So these are the concerns over grey markets. First, risk of tarnished image when customers realize that the product is available at a lower price through alternative channels. The manufacturer and distributor relations can also be strained because distributors lose sales. Why? Because they charge higher prices. When they charge higher prices, consumers will go towards the people who are involved in the grey markets. Another negative effect is disrupted company activities, including sales forecasting, pricing strategies, merchandising, and also marketing. So these are strategies to cope with grey markets. First, the manufacturer may aggressively cut prices in countries and regions targeted by grey market brokers. So consumers will choose their official channel other than grey market brokers. Or they can prevent the flow of products into markets where grey market brokers buy the product. Maybe they want to design products with exclusive features that strongly appeal to customers and publicize the limitations of grey market channels. The next P in international marketing is international marketing communications or promotion. International marketing communications deal with how the brand communicates themselves and positions themselves through media. Global advertising embraces standardized strategies in which advertising content is the same worldwide under the premise that the entire world is a single entity. Again, all firms will prefer standardized strategies because it's easier and it's less complex. But some prefer adaptation. Again, adaptation will depend on the product and also the market as well. Products like iPhone, it's better to be marketed using standardized strategy. food-based products, because we have learned this in franchising topic, food is rooted in culture. So if it's culture-based, there are a lot of adaptation has to be done. Not just for the product, but for the communications as well. How about place or international distribution? Distribution is the most inflexible of the marketing program elements because once established, it may be difficult to change. The most common international distribution approaches are using independent intermediaries, especially for exporters, and establishing subsidiaries directly in the market. This is for FDI strategy. Both types of channels must perform a range of downstream marketing activities. This will include short-term sales and supporting direct sales forces. And the firm should seek to minimize channel length, to minimize final prices and decrease complexity. Remember, a lot of variables are involved in international marketing decisions. We have come to the end of our lecture. Today we have discussed about international marketing. And the decision in international marketing focuses on either standardization or adaptation. Most firms, they choose somewhere in between these 2 points. After they make their decision, they will tailor their own marketing mix in terms of product, price, promotion, and also place. In product, we have learned about global brands. In pricing, we have learned about grey marketing. We also have learned about how to minimize grey marketing and also how to manage currency differences. We also have looked into promotion and also place as well. I hope you have learned something from this lecture. As always, you can go back to your slides and do your own revision. We will see each other in the next time.